African savanna on safari, looking for... Mike, is that a lion stalking us? I think it's something much scarier. It's a search term report, and someone has keywords with 150% ACOS. Oh no, they never added any negative keywords. And it looks like all their bids are just $3. No bid optimization? We're in trouble. We need to do something about this giant ACOS, but I don't know if we can do it alone. Oh no, it's the ad badger. Should we run? No. The ad badger can save us. He'll rip that high ACOS to shreds with bid optimization and negative keywords.
What's going on, Badger Nation? It's Mike and Brett from Ad Badger, and you're listening to the PPC Den Podcast, the world's first Amazon PPC advertising podcast, and your source for all of the tips, tricks, and optimization strategies you need to get the most from your Amazon ads.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mike here. Great to have you. How's it going over there, Brett?
Pretty good. The weather's, really turning around here in Austin. It is absolutely beautiful out today. How's it looking up there?
I'm currently in Chicago, and I'm just here for the week, but I was in Austin for the weekend. This is your first time living in Austin during South by Southwest. How's it going? Is the city buzzing?
We're a little bit crowded down here, a little crazier than normal, but yeah, everyone seems pretty happy and lots of awesome stuff going on around here.
That's right. And today's topic, we are answering a question that has been asked countless times in the past. And I'm really excited to answer this question here today for fans out there of Badger Nation. And Brett, this question is a big one. This is real talk time. Is paid traffic better than organic traffic?
Yep, that is the age-old question, and we're going to dive into all of that stuff today, guys. It's a really interesting topic whenever you bring this up, because people sometimes don't even run paid traffic at all in their business, and people don't really understand that they could potentially be missing out on quite a lot of revenue by doing that.
Right. I'm going to answer this question, and we are potentially biased because we are a paid traffic company. All we do is Amazon advertising all day, also known as all day. And really, is paid traffic better than organic traffic? Let's just jump right into it. I think this is the wrong question to ask, especially on Amazon. Essentially, the answer is they're both important. Powerful companies find ways to do both. And they don't really pick one or the other. It's sort of like this growth mindset, right? Like, hey, how can we get our organic sales as big as possible? And then, hey, how can we get our paid sales as big as possible? And on Amazon, there's this incredible synergy between paid and organic, meaning you'll get a sort of organic lift if you're running strong paid ads, and you will sort of get an organic decrease if you're not running paid ads. So on Amazon, I think the answer is abundantly clear. You got to do both. They're both important.
Yeah, totally agree. And I'm not even really sure where this narrative came from to begin with, Mike, the paid traffic versus organic traffic thing, because they seem to have more of a symbiotic relationship on Amazon. And if you maximize one, the other is going to benefit greatly. So if, there are certain listeners out there, if you haven't run paid traffic just yet, or, maybe you're dabbling with the idea of launching your first campaigns, you really need to understand how much benefit the organic side of your Amazon business can actually receive just by maximizing your paid traffic or even running paid traffic. It doesn't even have to be maximized, and you can see some really awesome benefits on the organic side of things.
That's right. What's interesting, because we get to talk to so many people here at Ad Badger, we see people that are maybe lacking on their organic efforts and think they can only get away with doing paid. And then we see the flip side of that too, where people maybe are lacking on their paid efforts and think they can get away just with organic. And I think both of those sort of binary decisions, like I'm going to do one or the other, leaves like a lot of opportunity on the table that people aren't picking up on. So the answer is both. The answer is always both. Good organic optimization includes things like making sure you are picking the right keywords to go in your titles and in your descriptions, and making sure you have the right images, and making sure you do all those product page level optimizations, sort of the organic side of things. That helps your paid. And then from the paid side of things, if you are if you're bidding on things like mason jars and you're getting loads of clicks and sales for the paid keyword mason jars, anecdotally, and we're building something to try to track this, but anecdotally, that helps your organic, for that keyword and related keywords. So both of these are synergy, positive feedback loop. They help each other. And that's really, that's the one takeaway that I think we really want people to know.
Yep. And, hopefully by episode 17 of our podcast, we've emphasized enough the importance of PPC. But I think the next step that people really need to take to actually understand this issue and what PPC means in their specific Amazon business is to actually understand their paid traffic to organic traffic ratio, basically understanding how much of their business is comprised of purely paid traffic, and then how much of it is coming from organic traffic, because knowing those numbers, pinpointing that stuff is going to make it so much easier to scale up your paid traffic or scale down your paid traffic accordingly.
Mm-hmm. I think a normal ratio, let's say there's an Amazon company doing $1 million a year in revenue. That means, just in general, like if I had to guess that $1 million a year in revenue Amazon company, they're probably spending 10% of that on paid spend. So they're probably spending $100,000 a year on ads. And then I would probably go to say that they're probably doing anywhere from a 3 to 5x return on that. So they're probably doing anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 on the high end of their total revenue coming from paid, if that makes sense. So that was $1 million a year company. They're probably spending 10% of that total on their ads, and they're probably getting a 3 to 5x return. So they're probably getting, $300,000 to $500,000 of that total $1 million coming directly from paid. So these are the sort of ratio and the way to think about this, I think, is really important for companies to know. And then, of course, the subtext there is if they were to turn off that $100,000 in ad spend, they would be missing out on the $300,000 to $500,000 worth of revenue. And not only that, the rest of that is organic would probably take a hit as well. So all these things, this interplay is very intimate. It's very connected.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And I think you're right on point there with about the 3 to 5x spend or so, Mike, because that would be, like a 33% to like a 50% ACOS or something like that, which is right around the average there. So I think you're right. And the first thing that we really need to pinpoint is where exactly customers or, where exactly Amazon sellers can go into Seller Central and find all of these numbers and peel those out.
So go look at the Amazon help docs and go find out where it talks about your paid traffic to organic traffic ratio, and tell us where you find it. It doesn't exist. There's no ratio that's listed out very clearly. Similar to maybe like a Google Analytics, there's nothing inside there in Seller Central. I think they're getting better. They're starting to Amazon Analytics and is getting better and all these things. But there's no real easy spot inside Amazon that's going to list out, hey, these are how many sales are coming from Facebook, or these are how many sales are coming from your Amazon paid sponsored products, and how many sales are coming from your paid sponsored brands, and so on and so forth. You kind of got to do this manually. So this is an activity, finding your paid to organic traffic sales ratio. This is an activity that you kind of have to do manually. We're working on building something inside Ad Badger to sort of do this, but it's kind of something you got to do manually now. And, where to find your paid revenue, you just go right inside your Seller Central campaign manager.
Yep. So once you're in there in the campaign manager, guys, you can just go ahead and change your metrics up top. If you change those to Well, actually, you can just go ahead and have sales displayed there. I think that's a default one. But if you don't have that up there for some reason, then make sure that's up there. And then select a certain time frame. Usually just doing like a whole month or something is the easiest way to do it. So something to be aware of is in the campaign manager, that is purely paid traffic, purely PPC. So write down that sales number or just throw it in a doc on your computer or something. And then the next thing you need to do is get your overall sales. So we can actually pinpoint what your ratio is. To get your overall sales, if you're in Seller Central or AMS, go to reports and then business reports. And inside of business reports, you can select the exact same time frame that you used for the PPC overall revenue that you just recorded. And then once you have that time frame figured out, it'll actually just display all of your sales right there. So then you can divide your PPC sales by your total sales, and that's going to give you your percentage of PPC traffic.
Yes.
And revenue.
If you were to go back in time and ask my wife what kind of podcast I would have 5 years from now, she'd probably say there's going to be math and spreadsheets in the middle of the podcast. So thanks so much, everyone out there, for sticking with us as we sort of do an audio walkthrough of how to find these ratios. Now, on our blog post for this podcast, if you want to go check that out, we're going to have screen caps and whatnot. And you can find all of our posts at adbadger.com/podcast. So just making sure if we lost anyone, you know where to find it. But so you have to manually sort of go and get this ratio. And the ratio that we see typically is that around 30 to 40% of your total revenue for your Amazon company is probably going to be coming from paid. Like I said, if you're doing $1 million a year in sales, that means you're probably getting 300 to 400,000 of that coming directly from your advertising efforts. And that's generally the average ratio. So what does it mean, maybe, Brett? What do you think it means if someone's paid revenue compared to their total revenue is only 10%? What if we think they have a very low paid to organic ratio?
Well, it obviously means that their PPC is pretty limited, and that there's probably some good room for growth there. And whenever you hear that 30 or 40% of someone's business is comprised of PPC, that doesn't just mean that you could be missing out on 30 or 40% of your revenue. It's actually much worse than that, because the PPC side of things, again, these are compounding benefits that go into the organic side of things. You're getting so many awesome benefits. You're getting, organic ranking improvements, BSR improvements. You could pick up on some Amazon's choice badges or some bestseller badges. You even build brand equity, brand recognition. There are just so many awesome benefits to running your PPC. So if you're not doing that, if you're only running maybe 10% of your revenue as PPC, I'd definitely maybe, explore launching some more campaigns, or, at least consider it.
You know why I like bestseller badges so much? Because they sound like bestseller badgers. Pretty solid.
It's pretty good.
And you know what? I think some speculation here. I am almost certain that somewhere in... I don't know about almost certain. I think it's good to always have some, idea hey, I could be wrong. But I think Amazon kind of wants companies to spend 10% of their total revenue and to sort of fit into those ratios. So, looking at sort of cost per clicks, they're sort of going up. Looking at just the way that metrics are sort of moving, I'm pretty sure that this is what a picture sort of perfect Amazon ratio looks like, spending about 10% and then getting a 3 to 5x on your ad spend. So that means about 30 to 40% of your total revenue on Amazon is coming from ads. And just like Brett mentioned, if your paid ratio is only 10%, so 10% of your total revenue, not only can you probably juice that to sort of potentially double or triple that revenue coming from paid, but you can also probably increase your total sales because of all those things: BSR, organic ranking, brand recognition, sales velocity, all those things. It's that sort of positive feedback loop. so there's some cool, like we said at the start of the show, the synergy, the positive feedback loop. And if I could go off on a little tangent, on Facebook ads, I think Facebook ads and just Facebook in general, everyone has complained over the years about how Facebook's organic reach has gone down. So if you're a brand, you have a Facebook page, you share something on your newsfeed, nobody sees it free. Like nobody sees it naturally in their organic feed. This is true. Like if you go to Facebook and you scroll around, very rarely will you see just an organic post from a brand. What you will see is a sponsored placement. So these things can have a positive feedback loop on Facebook too, meaning if you pay to get a post out there and people engage with it, that means they're going to be more likely to see your organic post. And that means the next time they see it, they're probably going to get cheaper engagement. The advertisers are going to get cheaper engagement. So this is actually true on a lot of things. Over on Google, same kind of thing happens. If you're running strong organic reach and people see your blog posts naturally and they like your brand, when you serve a paid ad on Google search, if they recognize your brand, they're going to click on your ad in a better ratio than if they are totally seeing you for the first time. They're going to click on it better. They're going to click on it more frequently, and that's going to drive your quality score up, giving you cheaper clicks on Google Ads. So the relationship between organic, paid is true on every platform. It is a positive feedback loop. This is unique in the way that it operates on Amazon, but it is not a unique feature to sort of Google, Facebook, Amazon. Paid and organic feed each other, and this is why I do think it's important that marketers on Amazon sort of can see things that Facebook and Google have done over the last 10, 15 years and better understand the direction that Amazon's moving in, and then sort of understand how Amazon is a little bit doing things that are unique and understanding how Amazon is unique and how they think about it. And anyway, there's my tangent.
I liked it.
Thank you, Brett.
So, one more thing to kind of add on to that point is, what would you do, Mike, if you were in charge of Amazon's advertising or in charge of Amazon's e-commerce in general? You'd obviously want to maximize your revenue as a company, and it only makes sense that you'd want to promote the products that do well both organically and in paid, because you're getting those CPCs and you're also getting the 15% of every purchase plus some FBA fees on top of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, look at, Amazon is starting to optimize for profit. So they look at the ad platform as a way to probably do that because the ad platform is incredibly successful. It doesn't impede the user experience. Like if you're on Instagram and you click on an Instagram ad, boom, you're doing something completely different than you were previously. Like you were looking at pictures of your friends, and now a brand is asking you to buy something. That completely switches up the brand experience. So Instagram could not have a platform where every third photo is a sponsored ad. Amazon can. People are there to shop anyway. People don't know when they're clicking on sponsored placements. I mean, if go ask someone who's sort of outside of our space and ask them to point out these sponsored placements on Amazon, they're gonna have to squint at the screen to find all of them. The people just sort of aren't aware of it. It doesn't really impact conversion rates. It doesn't impact revenue per click. It actually makes revenue per click go up on Amazon for Amazon. So I think it's sort of here to stay. So.
Yeah, I think we can probably speculate that somewhere in their algorithms, the PPC, the products that are doing well in PPC are getting a little bit of a boost. At least that's what I personally think. I know you personally have that feeling as well. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's
right. And let us know, if you're out there listening, let us know what your ratios are. Head over to adbadger.com/podcasts. You will find this post. And we would love to read some of your comments and, hear more about it. We love studying this. In the future, I think we are building a tool that will sort of give us the paid to organic ratio, potentially try to correlate any potential correlations or causations between paid and organic, how they interplay. I think it's a really exciting thing to study, and I would love to, as a sort of data person, love to just hear what the people's ratios are, what they've done, to ratios that they like or don't like, or how they're thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Let's start this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, and again, guys, it's so important to understand those ratios because you can actually use that to basically set goals, set a target. That's basically exactly how you should be getting your target ACOS. We can kind of, do these calculations and try to understand what is going to maximize sales velocity, which is probably the most important factor for organic ranking. And PPC is a great tool to do that. And that's why a lot of the time we suggest you run your target ACOS right at your break-even net profit margin. You want to jump into that, Mike?
Yeah, depending on what stage a company's at or the life cycle of their ad campaigns, where they're at, running at a break-even target ACOS isn't a bad idea in some cases. I know it's not maybe what people want to hear, but there are times where it does make some good sense. Maybe you're just starting out and, your conversion rate, let's be real, your conversion rate will be the lowest when you first get started. Your ability to generate sales is going to be lower when you're first launching a new product or a new brand. So being a little bit comfortable with closer to a break-even ACOS is, I think, something that's a good idea in a lot of cases. And then over time, as you start building out that organic side, you have the opportunity to sort of re-optimize where you want to land. So there's a lot of consideration there. I mean, we talk about break-even target ACOSs. We talk about going just under that because it helps. It helps fuel some of this organic lift and this organic reach. Now, obviously, I think an ideal would be, you can hit your target ACOS all day. And that fuels your organic. And then you can actually go maybe 10 points below that. So if your break even is 40% ACOS, you can potentially go down to 25 or 30% ACOS, fuel your organic, and make some profit off your paid. That, I think, is the ultimate thing that most people are probably striving for.
Mm-hmm. And, there seems to be almost like an argument in the Amazon seller community about profitability versus running right at break even.
On your ads.
Right. So what I'm thinking personally is as we go forward, and, I'm talking in maybe a 5, 10, 15-year view, Amazon is likely going to get much more saturated and much more competitive to the point where I personally think that CPCs will be so high that most successful companies on Amazon, I think, won't have an ACOS below 100%, but they'll be able to understand their customers' lifetime value enough to still make those profitable, customer acquisition costs, basically.
You're starting to see some of that. There's new to brand where people, there's metrics that where, hey, they previously purchased from another brand, now they purchased from your brand. What would a company be comfortable with an ACOS? What ACOS would you be comfortable with if you could potentially peel someone away from another company, another brand that they purchased from? How much is that customer worth to you? So lifetime value metrics, Amazon's making a big push towards that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, again, guys, even if you're above your break even, it's still possible that, that is going to be profitable for you over the long run, maybe over a span of several months or so. Being above your target ACOS, if that's break even, can actually drive more organic traffic to the point where it's worth it. So make sure you understand those ratios, get on top of this. And if you're confused about anything at all here, go ahead and leave us a comment on our blog. And that's going to be adbadger.com/podcast. We'd love to hear from you guys.
That's right. And when we have that organic sort of paid linking correlation causation tool, you guys will definitely be the first to know. So thanks to everybody for listening and supporting Team Badger over here.
Absolutely. And, we'll have another awesome episode for you guys next week and can't wait to hear from you.